people who are feeling not so sure about whether or not their vote will count. But listening to all of you, you've laid a lot of the burden entirely on the IEBC. What about the political parties, which are funded by the taxpayer as well? Do they have any role to play in as far as civic education and encouraging civic engagement in the electorate is concerned?
I think this should be a concerted effort, and noting that, in fact, most of the political parties that has members, elected members, actually earns a lot from the government funding. It is important for them at this particular time, because they are the people who, the political parties are the ones who require what we call numbers in terms of voting blocks. And to attain this, then political parties must be sure they have enticed their base by way of taking this particular civic education to the people down there, where the IEBC cannot be able to reach. I think political parties as representatives, those representatives, and especially now in Nairobi, we have started, yesterday we did commence that sensitization program, loading a number of trucks to go out and telling people just to choose this opportunity.
From the political party level?
Of course, yes. Yeah. They will take this opportunity to register, noting that, in fact, there is always a big noise. And this noise is made by Kenyans. And I think, in fact, the best thing is to be able to understand, if you don't take part in registering as a voter, then that noise will never end. Because those others who has voted, they should all be making a decision of their choice. But probably that your vote is the vote that can cast a difference. And therefore, it is high time that everybody who feels that, in fact, he would like this country to move to a particular direction or a destiny, the way to make sure that is done is by exercising, becoming a voter, so that by that particular day, you take part in that particular voting. And casting vote is making a decision to where would wish Kenya to be tomorrow. I will tell you, the Gen Z are very well fast in these particular digital platforms, and they do a lot of good things. But failure to have IDs and voter cards, it is a way of blocking their rights from exercising that right of voting. And therefore, I would ask them, let all of us, political parties, politicians, aspirants, let us make it a concerted effort to mobilize Kenyans, entice them, and direct them to register in big numbers. That does not mean that you should be voted. But in fact, those Kenyans will take part in making decision making, which is their right in the Constitution.
All right. Wakili, you wanted to add something?
I have a point that I would like Kenyans to mull over. Just think about it. Why not, since the electoral laws that we have they confer on every Kenyan, at the moment they attain 18 years of age, the right to vote, the right to register as, with any political party. Why not then make it that at the point of registration of an ID, then you are simultaneously registered as a voter? Because you see, the particulars in your ID have where you come from, when you're born, and all of that. So why do you need this extra, process of going through the IEBC registration? So they should merge the two and make it easier, so that the moment you get your ID, you also are registered simultaneously. You save time, and then you make it very harmonious. Lastly, how about our own civic education in our primary schools and in our secondary schools, so that at the point that this teenager is getting to the majority age of 18, they are educated, they have to be taught, and they know that as part of your Patriotic Act, and in fact, under Article 10, Sub-Article 2A of the Constitution, the very first value, the very first principle there is patriotism. So it should be taught in high schools, in primary schools, that look, as part of your civic duty, you have to be registered as a voter, and this is how you exercise your constitutional right of enfranchisement.
Okay, and that issue when it comes to education, because I know education is very close to your heart.
I think we should now move to the level of new technology, and at least at the age we are in, supporting the sentiments of Wakili, we need to think in terms of policy and make it easy. An ID should be an outright gadget for you to vote. Right. And therefore, we don't have to have double registration of voter card and an yes. ID, so that at least we can minimize those kind of handles. And sure.
But the voter card enables yes. you to isolate your constituency, your ward. Really, it is necessary under the law, under the IEBC, because now you have this ubiquitous sort of voting that you can move from Mombasa to Mandera or Kisumu using the ID. That's not right. We should negate their voter ID.
About our curriculum, matters to do with civic education and what is taught in our schools, because young people are coming out of schools and they don't feel the necessity to engage actively in matters civic duty. Do you think it's our curriculum that's failing? Back then in the day, we were taught about civic education.
Part of why the CBC was introduced was supposed to be a competence-based curriculum where a student was supposed to be taught on other skills, not just about education, maths, English, but also the social part of life. And I think, if my memory serves me right, by the time we were on our system then, which was 844, clearing Form 4, at that point, majority of people even registered as voters, even before their age, before even attaining the age of 18. I remember that time there was an opportunity where even the people to register for IDs used to come to high schools, because then you are at the tail end of leaving high school, and majority then had turned 18 years old. So I think it is very important that this is also incorporated just within our education curriculum. But most importantly, as what Wakili had said, there is work for the ID. At the same time, a voter's register card is very important, because my ID gives the details maybe of where I was born from, its history, where I was born, and all those things. But then where am I staying and where would I want to cast my vote? I may have been born in Mombasa, but now I live in Nairobi, or I want to cast my vote in Roysambu constituency. So that means then where I am registered. But I think what we need to do is embrace the issue of digital literacy, and for us to fully go digital. Because if when we are registering people with political parties, people don't necessarily have to physically go to a political party headquarters to register. We find that most of the times political parties are able to register their members online. So why are we not able to register online? If I have my details, I have my ID, the details that you go and verify. And I'm very sure now with digital literacy, we can even be able to put the fingerprints and everything else online. I think we need to advance. Okay. I've seen even in the US, people vote online. People can vote even using through post. You can be able to fill in and post. But us here in Kenya, we have to line up. We are still doing things in a very old way. We have over 20,000 services on eCitizen. I think we need now to see and ask ourselves then, how can we tighten up? How can we be able even to advance to an extent that we can be able to register online? That at the comfort of my house, I can be able to register, give my details, and then details verified, I can be able to put my fingerprint. Look at even the health sector. When I'm using my insurance card, when I go and run my card, then I put my fingerprint, I'm able to. Okay. And this fingerprint, you only register when you're going to the hospital. So I think these are things that we can be able to advance on, and we need to open up our mind and see to what extent can we make this easier, rather than just having everything done manually. And
we need to move on from this discussion now. Final word on this. You wanted to challenge something she said.
Yeah. How about hacking? I mean, like, look, the 2017 election, we were told that, okay, fine, you have all these, we can see the figures, but hey, the integrity of that whole system failed.
We need to start
so we're being told today that Shah has a problem, because behind Shah there are these mandarins who are stealing from us using the electronic system. None other than CS telling us. So how about our own electoral system being hacked into? And we heard these voices in 2022 in the US. There was this corporation called Dominion that they hacked the systems, and even here we've been told, and now they're hiring these system operators, and they allegedly hired them in Botswana, and so we are hearing that the same system hackers are being availed here, and so on and so forth. So the Kenyan, and this goes to what you were saying a little bit earlier about voter apathy. Fine, and we cast the vote. For instance, in 2017, look at that repeat election. What lessons do we learn from that? It seems to me that we never learned those lessons. It seems to me that we are still steeped into this notion that technology is a panacea for everything. Shah, if anything, is showing showing us, oh, wait a minute, and maybe NHIF was far much more better with all the handicaps of technology. Now with those full technology, we don't have it.
I don't want to open this box.
No, she's vested in it. I don't blame her. She's vested in it.
The whole thing is this. We must also try, and because we have a lot of now young people who are now becoming tech savvy.
Yes.
It's true, every system is prone to all these things of hacking. But if we compare NHIF and what we are seeing in SHA, at least we are able to see who is stealing. There's a system that can tell you now who is stealing.
We'll see who's stealing our votes.
We might be able to even track and see.
Before we see, they'll have entrenched themselves.
No, we cannot just say that we will be so afraid of technology that we cannot move on.
When it comes to technology, I don't think we have a choice. I don't think we have a choice but to adopt technology because it's a way to go. Thank you for that. Voter registration and the apathy that is being witnessed. But today is the second day since the resumption of the continuous voter registration, which is provided for in Article 88. And the word is continuous, meaning it will not stop, probably only stop a few weeks towards the next election. Get yourself a voter's card. I want us now to switch to another discussion that has really dominated headlines this past weekend. But before that, a few of your feedback. Here I can see Duke Jefferson Williams says, no advertisement has been done in reference to that voter registration. Paul Jr. says there is no one called Gen Z in polling stations. Let people register. Yes, they should register. Gladstone Obwamu says, yes, Gen Zs will vote, which means they will register as voters. There are so many reasons to take a voter's card. Nivile too, as typical Kenyans, we enjoy the last minute adrenaline of registering as a voter. Let's hope that it's that Kenyans are just waiting and they will eventually register. But the sooner you do it, the better for you. Let's now talk about Jubilee Party. It's there.